Hello there, you beautiful people. This week, I'm going to be making an underarm sort of um, baguette bag, like purse type thingamajiggle doohickey, whatever you want to call it. Now, the term I've coined for it is the Messenger Mini. One, because that's a cool name and I made it so I get to name it whatever the heck I want. But also because the design I'm using was actually inspired by one of those like old school style messenger bags. And I mean the overall construction and like the way the flap looks and whatnot. So yeah, I'm making 3. In this video, I'm just going to be making 1. But as you can see, I'm tracing out enough parts for 3. Now, funny story, initially I was going to make all 3 for the video, but I ran out of glue. And you'll see why I need glue later. But I ran out of glue after gluing the first one, and that was honestly a lesson I should have learned before. I should have learned this by now, like doing this for like almost 3 years. I should have learned. Check before you start. Make sure you have all of the materials you need to do the entire project all the way through. I cannot tell you how many times I have started a project and then realized that I didn't have enough, like 25%, 50% in, realized I didn't have enough materials to actually do the entire project, and then that project ends up sitting on a shelf for like a year, and I may not even ever get back to it. Anyhow, yeah, so that's a lesson I learned. Apparently I can't speak right now. As you can see, I'm just tracing out everything. I use a utility knife for all of my cuts and everything. To me, it's the easiest one to control. I know if there are any leather workers listening, any especially old school leather workers, are probably typing in the comments, "How dare you?" Because there's definitely old school tools like the round knife, or even like the Japanese skiving knife or anything like that. For me, those have always just been really, really weird. So, anyways, you can see I'm cutting out suede. That's because I'm going to line all the bags in different colors of suede. So you'll see me pull out, that was red. I am doing 1 in red, 1 in blue, and come on, Nicola, pull out the other color. And 1 in pink, or technically it's fuchsia. It's a fancy pink. Yes. As you can also see, I am overcutting the suede, and that is a little gluing trick. And now you can see I'm using barge contact cement to adhere everything, and a paint roller for the main body of it. I overcut the liner because what you do is you overcut the liner, and then you have your cut to size main body pieces that you then adhere to the liner, and then you cut the liner, the excess of the liner off. That way you don't have to perfectly line up your edges when you're like sticking the pieces on, because it's almost impossible to do that. And if you cut everything to size right off the bat, you're more than likely not going to have good edges and like perfect edges. And obviously you want perfect eggs. All right, anyhow, yeah, I'm tying a bag over it. As you can see, I ran out of glue. Otherwise, I would have been gluing the other 2 in this shot. And here I'm just adhering. I use a little weighted roller to make sure I get out all the air bubbles. And now you can see I initially tried to use a straight edge, but the type of leather I'm using is Horween Chrome XL, and for whatever reason, the finish on it prevents straight edges from wanting to stay straight when you're cutting against them. So, all right, now I'm just clipping any corners that need to be rounded, and I'm trimming off the excess off the gussets, and I'm just using the edge of the black pieces as a straight edge to guide my knife, and I'm going slow and light pressure. And now I'm adding a groove line to everything because I'll be hand sewing everything, and also because it looks really nice. Yeah, now I am beveling, and a good reason to put some money into the beveler you get is most bevelers are going to have a lot of trouble with Suede just because of how like it basically dissolves in smaller pieces, in like really, really fine pieces. But as you could see, this beveler just like chews right through that Suede. It's fantastic. And that is the Little King Supply edger. I absolutely love his tools. All right, little zoom in on the camera jobber, and now I'm adding a groove line to what will be the shoulder patch. And I think the next clip is me actually sewing it, maybe. Or actually, I gotta add all the chisel lines first. But yes, okay, I'm beveling it first. I gotta say, I'm pretty sure now I'm adding the groove line to the gussets. Yeah. But as I was saying, I'm pretty sure that these purses are probably the nicest thing I've ever made. All the decorations, everything is fantastic. All right, I'm doing the... Okay, yeah. I'm adding the chisel line here, and I pulled out the edge beveler because I realized that I actually forgot to bevel one edge. And most of my tools are from... Actually, I can't even say most of my tools are from Weaver because I actually have like an even amount of tools from a bunch of different companies. But these chisels are from Weaver. They're really, really good quality chisels. The only thing I would say is I really wish the handle's rounded instead of flat because it's kind of hard to hold on to them. Like I've got some other chisels from Tandy, and in my opinion, Tandy's tools are not the same level of quality that Weaver's are for whatever reason. But the one nice thing I like about them is that they're rounded. The handle part is rounded and textured, which is so helpful when it comes to holding onto your tool. All right, so now I am just adding a chisel line, and the trick with the chisel line is you put the last tine in the first tine in the last hole, and the tine is like one of those things that makes a hole. And if you line up your last thing with a hole that already exists in the chisel line, you'll have perfect spacing every time. And that's where a groove line comes in because you also can feel the chisel drop into that groove line. Okay, now I'm marking for some oblong holes. Now, I will admit my oblong holes are not perfectly centered or perfectly perpendicular with the edges of that piece. But it's going to be a shoulder pad, and there's going to be a strap running through it, so you don't even really see it. Yes, now I'm putting a chisel line. I'm basically putting a chisel line in everything. A chisel line. All right. Yes, okay, here we go. Now I'm hand sewing, and I'm using a contrast red waxed thread, and all the thread I use in basically all of my goods is Ritza Tiger thread. For me, their thread is the nicest thread I've ever used. No comparison to any other thread. I've used thread that's made in America, and as disappointed as I am to say this, it's nowhere near the quality and the overall luxurious feel as these are. Okay, yeah, now I'm changing the song that was playing. And apparently taking off my sweatshirt. I think it was hot that day. All right, yeah, now I'm going through here. I think that this stitching, like the thread itself, just looks amazing. The thread, okay, so like it's kind of wild, but so all of this looks like I must be a master leather worker. I must have been doing this my entire life. I started this craft like 2 years ago, okay? I only really started my business a year ago. The thing that makes my work look so good are good quality tools. If you learn a couple of core techniques, and all of this stuff is available on YouTube, you learn a couple of core techniques and get really good at them, and they're like really basic, simple techniques, and then you just invest in some good tools, the tools will do most of the work for you. So you can make shit that's probably better than mine if you really put your mind to it. I think the part that where like actual real skill comes in. Okay, one, carving and tooling. That is something that I'm still very new to, but man, if you ever have a chance, if you ever have like 20 minutes and you want your mind to be absolutely blown, look up hand carved, hand tooled saddles. Oh my god, these things are insane. Like full scenes with a background, middle ground, and foreground in leather, and it's flat leather. It's insane. So that is where real skill comes in, and also designing. I don't like to toot my horn a lot, but I would say I'm very, very good at designing things. So like this bag, I designed all the dimensions, I based it on something, but I came up with all the dimensions and did all the math and whatever, and created all the patterns from scratch. But if you don't want to do that, just buy some patterns. There's plenty of free patterns too. Buy some patterns or download some free patterns and learn a couple of basic techniques. Put maybe $100 into it in terms of tools, and you'll be able to make incredible things. Sorry, that's my rant over. Right now, I am doing stitch lines, and I prioritize, whenever I line something, I always prioritize the stitch line because that ensures that the two pieces of leather don't come apart. Now, some people claim that when they use contact cement, I'm using Barge contact cement. It's a very good product, but some people say that when they use it and they combine two pieces of leather, those things never come apart. For me, they always come apart. I don't know why, for whatever reason, but they come apart very, very quickly. So I always prioritize the stitch line first. As you can see, now I'm doing the stitch line on the other end of the main body panel. Yeah. So whenever you're lining projects, always prioritize the stitch line first. And actually, I had a lot of fun doing this. I didn't really go through and look at all the audio, but I was just goofing around in this audio. In the actual audio of the clip. Maybe I should upload that. I kind of wanted to do a full unedited, so in the moment audio, none of this commentary or anything. It would be probably a 90-minute video, and I definitely wouldn't have any monetization on it because there's so much copyrighted music going on in the background. It's I might as well put up a sign and say, "Hey, YouTube, flag me." But I think I want to do that, and I'm also really happy I discovered that you can actually upload in 4K with nothing special. I just needed to set my recording software to 4K, or not recording software. What the fuck am I saying? Editing software. That's what I was saying. All right, yeah. I'll be honest, I've never commentated over a video this long, so if I'm just kind of oh, yeah, okay, yeah, just to fill up some time, I apologize, because sometimes I don't really know what to say. Here we go. Okay. Come on, Nikola. You can do it. You're getting close. My shoulder was hurting so much in this scene in this clip. It was like somebody was hitting it with a blowtorch. Seriously. I have some kind of shoulder injury. I don't know what it is. It might be a partially torn rotator cuff, but I'm almost afraid to go in and get it looked at, because if I get it x-rayed and the doctor tells me that it's actually a torn rotator cuff, then it actually becomes a real thing that I have to deal with. And if I don't do it, then it's just oh, my shoulder hurts. It could be this, but it might not be. And I can just kind of not have to deal with it. I mean, I take extra time in the gym to warm it up and whatever. But all right, so edging. Edge work is easily one of my favorite and most satisfying things to do. As you can see, that is a sort of like dye markers. So it's basically an empty marker that I got on Amazon, and then I filled it up with black dye, and I'm dyeing all of the edges black. What I do first, that rag is just soaked with tap water. I run over all the edges with water, and the reason for that is because of the suede, and it kind of like wets and seals the suede so that it basically so that it burnishes nicely. Because when I actually use the burnishing agent, if the suede isn't sealed or previously burnished in some way, what happens, for me at least, is the burnishing agent, which is called Tokonol, that the one that I use is called Tokonol, it tends to actually use up, or it stains the suede, basically. And now this is just a close-up sort of burnishing shot. And unfortunately, it seems like most of this is out of the shot. Oh, God. Let us see it here. Yes. Okay, that needle, I forget what the thing is called, but it is so useful for applying Tokonol. I used to do it with my finger. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen in other videos I've done it with my finger instead. But it's nowhere near as precise as using that thing. And as I said in last week's video, burnisher, this is from Little King Supply. His tools are just freaking beautiful, honestly. I mean, you don't need a nice burnisher. You could buy a burnisher from Hobby Lobby. That's the one I used to have. And it'll work just the same. It's just, look at the tool. Okay, it's so beautiful. I mean, I could literally just stare at that tool. And it's like, it makes all the difference for me. At least, I mean, enjoying the craft. So yeah, okay. You see I'm using the other edge of the burnisher, the other end of the burnisher. In my opinion, you don't have to do that. For me, it's almost like I just like the clicking sound that it makes. Because when you burnish something enough, it starts to make a clicking noise. And that means that like the edges are completely sealed and it's smooth. And you don't see in the video, but I actually go over the edges 6 times. So you saw the water, and then you saw the dye, and then you see this one coat of Tokonol. But actually what I do is after the Tokonol, the one coat, I come in again with more dye to do a touch-up, because some parts you can still see the different colors through, especially at the gusset edges, which you'll see later. But I do a touch-up with the dye pen. So basically, I just go over it again. Burnish that, then do another coat of Tokonol. I burnish that, and then I do another coat of Tokonol. So in total, there's 1 coat of water, 2 coats of dye, and 3 coats of Tokonol. And for me, when it comes to leathers that don't burnish really nicely, that gets a perfect edge. Okay, this is a different red leather that I'm using to cut lace, because I'll be doing some lace braiding in a couple of shots, as you'll see. And I'm just finding a good spot, and I'm going to just take my Ginger leather shears and just cut out a piece. I have a couple of, I was experimenting with some different angles you'll see in the next couple of shots. But yes, cutting out this leather is Lexi Top Grain 4 to 5 ounce from Weaver. Really, really nice red. Really consistent grain. Highly, highly recommend. I think I'm going to make a pair of boots out of it pretty soon, hopefully. Okay, this is just a simple circular die I have from a client that I made some like circular patches for hats. And I'm just clicking out a I think it's a 2 1/4 circle. So clicking out a circle, and then this black plastic piece that you see is a lace maker. For the longest time, I could not figure out how to use this tool. But what I realized is that I was using a leather that was too supple. So it takes a second, and there's a little bit of a trick to getting it actually started. But you'll see here, I get a piece started, and then the most satisfying part of the craft is about to ensue. Look at that. You just pull. You make so much lace from a tiny piece. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm pretty sure I got like probably 20 feet of lace from this. It's absolutely insane. This is what? Probably like no more than a square foot. No, it's not even a square foot. It's probably half a square foot. And I got like 19 or 20 feet of lace. I mean, look at this. This is insane. There's so much lace. Okay. Now I am marking all of my holes for not only my closure, which is going to be a really nice magnetic snap, but also all the holes for the Mexican basket weave, which you will see in a minute. And the tool I'm using to mark it is just called a FID. It's by C.S. Osborne. It's really nice. It's just like it's basically like a wooden ball with a pointy stick at the end. Yeah. And I'm also going to be putting a brass spot at the ends. If you can see, there's like an extra hole at the end of the lines of holes that are for the basket weave. And if you're wondering what the material is that I used for my patterns, surprise, surprise, it's from Weaver, which I feel like almost all my stuff now is from Weaver. It is their plastic sheeting. It's technically a bag stiffener, so like you would put it in between two panels of leather for like something like a tote bag, but they market it as a pattern sheeting, and I can't argue with the results. It's very nice. Okay, now I've got some drive punches. I actually made a little mistake with these. I used a drive punch that is too big for the lacing. So as you can see, I kind of have to figure out where my holes are going there at the end. And I end up only being able to get 9 sets of holes in instead of 10, which is supposed to be 10. That's what it is on the pattern, I believe. For the other 2 bags, I corrected that mistake. But I think that's a 3/8 or 3/16 of an inch drive punch, and I needed 1/8 of an inch. And so this is just an X-Acto knife, and I'm cutting the holes for the spots because it's just a 2-prong spot. And so you just feed it through, and then you bend the prongs into each other on the other side, and then you just tap them in with a wooden mallet. And it's super simple. I was super afraid of spots before. Like, I avoided using them at all costs. And then I did a really cool sleigh bell strap, which hopefully come wintertime I'll do a video on it. And there was something like maybe 20 spots on it, and it forced me to get really comfortable with spots. Okay, and this is the magnetic snap. This is from Buckle Guy. I think it's their cap back or like double cap spot. It's super, super nice. The only thing I don't like about Buckle Guy is that their flat rate shipping is like $15. So if I want to get 3 of these, I'm literally paying more in shipping than I am in the actual thing. So it's like I got to order a bunch of shit from them. Anyways, now I'm doing the basket weave. And it's super simple. I'm not going to explain it super in depth here because I actually do want to do a video on it all by itself. The lacing needles I'm using are threaded lacing needles, which means that you cut a taper on the ends of the lace, and then you can actually thread the needles onto the lace like you would be screwing something on. It's fantastic. And obviously the lacing needles are also from Weaver. Actually, all my skills are from Weaver too, or most of them. I learned most of my skills from watching Chuck Dorset on Weaver Leather on YouTube. He's a great guy. All right, yeah. So, here I am not knowing what exactly to say anymore because this, that, and the other thing. Bada bingo. Skidoo pop 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 pop. You ever listen to a song and you just don't know what to say to the song? And so you end up just going like, skidoo bop a doop bop bop. Or is that just me? Did any of you grow up with Donkey Kong? This is so random, but Donkey Kong Country, actually the original Donkey Kong Country series as a whole, the music was amazing. Is that's literally work music for me now. Like I'll listen to Stickerbush Symphony or the OG theme or Aquatic Ambience. Oh my god, music's amazing. Okay, now I'm ending the. I'm going around a couple times in the last couple of holes for the braid, and as you can see, I am letting the ends hang out. So that's why I'm going a couple times around so I make sure they don't come out. Because obviously I used holes that were too big, so I had to go like 2 or 3 times around. But yeah, I am letting the ends hang out. I think it looks really cool. Yeah, okay, here we go. Here's the other one. Also, the lace is not so blood red. I don't know why it appears like that in the camera, but for whatever reason, my phone does not like red. Like, it just goes so overboard with red. I don't know why, but... Oh, I also just remembered that I'm actually watching this on a computer with night shift on, so maybe it actually does not look red, and I just sound absolutely insane. Let me know in a comment, does the lacing look overly red to you in the video? I don't know why. For me, it does, but... it's not so offensively red in real life. Now, some of you might think that the sound stopped working, but it actually didn't. I just don't know what to say because I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, here we go. We're finishing out. Now, on the last video, obviously the clips were not nearly as long because it was a wallet and not a bag. So I was able to just I naturally finished talking as a step finished. So, okay, here I am doing what's calling setting the braid, which means I'm basically hammering it down so it kind of flattens out and it's just all level and whatever. And I think it just gives a much more completed look to it. And then, as you can see, I'll flip it over and I'll do it on the other side too. Yep. Maybe I should add some music next time so I can distract you guys from the awkward silence that I'm experiencing on my end. Okay, here I am putting a chisel line into the gussets. And in the next clip, I will be lining up these chisel lines with chisel lines that I'll be putting on the main body so that when I go to sew, everything lines up right. And that is such a huge help. Take extra time with your pattern and with your chisel line, and then everything else will be easier. I used to not do that. I used to kind of wing it, and the amount of problems I ran into was just absolutely redonkulous. And it would just make everything so much more frustrating and so much more difficult because I didn't take my time. So, just another thing I've learned through doing this craft. OBKB, Nikola. Oh, and my little brother is going to listen to this and it's going to ask me why the fuck I was being so quiet. But to be honest, I don't really want to do multiple takes of this commentary. I think it's more like real if I just kind of do one take and then send it. Do a full send. All right. Now, I don't think there's anything more satisfying than watching hand sewing in a time lapse. Look at how fast I'm going. Oh my God. All right. Now, sewing these gussets like this is always a little tricky, especially when you're going around the first corner. Like, things do not want to line up. But because I took my time with my chisel line and with my pattern, things did line up, even though they were a little awkward to sew. Yeah, as you can see, I ended up having to use a clip just to hold everything in place. I have this in what is called a sewing horse. There's a sewing pony and then a sewing horse. The sewing pony is a little clamp on a table thing that you've seen in other videos. This is a sewing horse, which is its own thing that I can sit on. Again, from Weaver. Now, this tool was like $200, and to be honest, I love most Weaver tools, but they could have made this more comfortable to sit on. My legs and my ass hurt so much after sitting on this for a while, it's like ridiculous. It's probably why they call it a sewing horse, because it feels like you've been riding a horse all day. All right, now I'm slicking the edges, and yeah. Now, some people would use something that's called edge coat, which is like sort of like a thick, kind of like a thick paint almost on the edges, and it makes it look like a perfect edge. For me, one, I think it looks a little fake, but two, I don't know how people use it effectively, because for me it's always so messy. It's like ridiculous. All right, now here are the money shots with some music, so I'll shut the fuck up. I hope you enjoyed.
Whoa, hold the phone. Don't leave yet, guys. If you made it to the end of the video, I thank you. You're an absolute beast. Let me know you made it to the end by typing a comment that starts with, "Where is my banana?" Why, where is my banana? Because I'm a fucking psychopath, that's why. If you thought this video deserved it, then please consider leaving a like. And if I added something to your day, or if I added some value to you, then please consider subscribing. The subscriptions help. They seriously do. They're completely free. You can unsubscribe anytime. I'm going for that initial 1,000. Right now, at the time of filming, we are at 80 subscribers. Well, I say we. There's nobody behind this except me right now. But I'm at 80 subscribers, which is honestly more than I have ever had, which is cool. But at the same time, going for that initial 1,000 so that I can be a partner. And more subscribers means I can make more money. More money means I can make better videos for you guys, and better videos for you guys means more subscribers. So it's a win-win-win situation. So yeah, if I added something to your day, subscribe. Don't be afraid to ask any questions you have in the comments. I'm always happy to answer them. Have a great weekend.
Wow!